Welcome to episode 12 of the Mechs on Deck talk show. Today, we don't have Chewwy, so we've brought in one of our mods for the Discord server. It is Moon himself.
What up, guys? Happy to be here.
Yeah, we're excited that you're here. Today, we're going to be talking about something that's near and dear to our hearts, and is kind of the reason why Moon is here, and that's meetups.
Very true. Oh man, how many meetups have you ever been to?
I've actually only been to one meetup so far.
Okay.
We've had the two here in the last year in Dallas. The one that you and Chewwy met, which we'll get into later. But the one y'all met at was while I was on vacation in Utah, so I wasn't there for that. But there was one before that that was in, I think, November, if I remember correctly. But that one was my first meetup. So
Yeah, I've only been to one too. It was crazy though, and I think right now is a good time to talk about them, especially with KeyCon just happened. What, last week? 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago, yeah, 2 weeks ago it
Two
was the
weeks ago.
first. It was the first of June. But yeah, and then you've got a bunch of meetups coming up. The Seattle meetup, NorCal meetup later in the year, which we're hoping we can get out to, and some other big ones. So it's a pretty good time. But before we get into that, what are you typing on today?
I'm still typing on my KBD 67. It's my silent build. It's my work. Honestly, it's my work build. But I've been patiently awaiting for my Xeno to come in the mail. And when I say patiently, I haven't been patient at all. I've hit that wall where I just feel like anytime I look at anything keyboard related, I just get pissed off because I just want it so badly because I'm tired of bringing this back and forth from work to home. And I'm just, yeah, I've hit the wall. I've hit the wall. But I trust Zeal and I know that it's going to be super high quality and I know Poner and Lola like poured their souls into it as well. So I'm not worried about it not being up to the expectation. I'm just more antsy.
You just want to get it in your hands. I think I see you post in the Xeno Geek Hack forum like at least once a week.
Don't embarrass me in front of all my friends. No,
It's coming.
Just for the post count, bro. It's just for the post.
Just for the post count. No, it's coming.
No.
It's coming.
I'm honestly more at this point. I'm more just hunting for like a half plate.
Yeah.
Just because I had stage fright originally, but now that the more I've typed on brass and more I've typed on that stuff, I'm thinking like maybe a half plate would be kind of sick because it would give that little bounce with a tactile switch. Because I'm throwing Holy Pandas on there, so the more and more time passes, the more I'm like, yeah, maybe I do want the half plate. And it's kind of what makes that board unique that they offer the half plate. Not a lot of boards offer it.
Yeah.
And everyone's going, gasket and isolation mount and all that stuff right now. So I think if you have the half plate, that's kind of what sets it apart from those other boards. Because I don't even think a lot of like the things like the TGR Jane, or I may be wrong, but I don't think TGR Jane or key call number one Rev 2 is doing half plate.
I'm not sure. So. I'm not sure with those super low runs. I feel like they try to keep it more.
Yeah, I think the Rev
layout.
2. I think the Rev 2 number one TKL that they're doing right now is bigger than what they normally do. But I still think it's small.
Yeah.
Compared to some of your more normal group buys.
Yeah, it's not like a Rama where there's going to be thousands of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, today I'm just typing on my TX60. Still, it's my gaming board.
Your new board.
Yeah,
it looks great, dude.
I love it. It feels good. It sounds good. It's great for gaming, which is what I use it for pretty much. And then just basically at home, I'm still waiting on some stuff to rebuild my Orange 75. I'm gonna make that similar to your KBD board. It's gonna be Xylence and try to be a little bit more stealth for the work.
I will recommend if you can fit it. I did finally invest in some Sorbothane. I think I was telling you about this a little bit, and it was a night and day difference in the sound it just mutes it and makes it really. I almost want to say makes it a little bit deeper,
Yeah.
right? Especially on the modifiers, especially the space bar. It sounds great.
I'll definitely have to look
So
at it. There's just not a lot of space in the bottom of the Orange 75. Like I don't even think
yeah,
if you had a hot swap PCB it would really work very well. Like
really,
it is a pretty small
it's
board.
that thin.
Yeah,
Dang,
it's pretty
I
thin.
think they make. I think the smallest they make it is like point something like 2 millimeters. I want to say. I think mine's like 4, and it is a little bit thick. I had to like really press it down to like get it to lock in. Sorry, my cat doesn't want to. He's just trolling me now.
He's
But
just having a good time.
are you
So,
waiting on anything? Did you just get in on any group buys recently?
I'm waiting on a lot, but most of them are not coming until significantly later in the year. You know, waiting
Mm,
on like a couple of key sets. I think the earliest thing that I could get, depending on what happens with Illumina, maybe that.
mhm.
But definitely minimal, GMK minimal. For
You hopped on the
August, I
extras?
hopped in on the extras. Both Chewy and I did.
I did too.
We got in on
I did
extras.
too.
So minimal, and then probably nines, and then waves, and
Nice.
then olive. Um,
Yeah.
I need to probably
Oh,
get more boards. I'm in like a whole bunch of key sets, but not any
you have like
boards.
30 key sets now, but so you jumped on Olive already.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm thinking about it. I feel like for me, it was either Olive or Waves,
Mhm.
and I didn't get Waves, so I feel like I probably should get Olive. And I know I'm gonna regret it if I don't get it, or at least one of them, but we'll see. I hopped on minimal though. I couldn't resist.
I really regretted not getting on Olivia last year. And so I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I feel like this is going to be the same thing. I like the key set. If I don't get in on it, I'm going to end up liking it more
Yeah.
and then I'll miss out
Yeah.
on it, which is kind of the same thought process I had with Waves.
Yeah.
I was like, this, every time I look at it, it grew on me more and more.
That's how I
And
felt
so
about it too.
I was like,
And
oh, gotta get it.
it had grown me enough to where I was like, okay, I absolutely need this. And I woke up that next day to go get it, and that was
The
the day
day
after
after.
it ended. And I was like freaking out. I think I even like panicked and I messaged you. I was like, hey, I'm buying your spot, bro. Just
Nope.
send me the PayPal invoice.
Well, and I didn't even know Chewy had got in on it, and then he just was like, "Yeah, I got in on Waves." I was like, "Oh, okay." So we both are in on like three of the same key sets.
You guys are
So
just
a
it's a little
match made
weird.
in
I'm not gonna
heaven.
lie to you guys. It's a little weird. And you're matching keeps. His wife must be
Close,
jealous.
a little bit.
But other than that, I think oh, one other thing. I did join the I got lucky. Um my boy Jack Statics is running this he originally the plastic Alice, now renamed the more elegant Rukia Ergo Group I. I'm really pumped about that. I'm nervous because I've never typed on it, but from everything I've heard, it's gonna be pretty legit. And that's a quick turnaround. He's expecting a 90-day turnaround on that one.
That's gonna be
So
pretty awesome.
end of
It's
August.
like 60 something.
69.
Of
he
course.
there was originally 50 spots. So that's how it kind of went. There was originally 50 spots. It was like 25 private, 25 first come, first serve. I tried to get on the first come, first serve. Didn't get lucky. I mean, 25, it's
Yeah, it's
gone in like
gone.
5 seconds,
Yeah,
something stupid like that. And he had shut it down. And I talked to him about it a little bit. I was like, oh, dude, I'm so bummed. Da da da. And I want to say like last week was like, you know what? I want to open 20 more spots up to a raffle. And everyone was like, why do 20 when you can make it 69? So he did 19 more spots. And that's their final. They're not doing any more spots on it. But I know he wanted to keep it small because he's doing everything in the US is what he was saying. So
well,
all local vendors, he was pretty passionate about like being able to be involved with it. So it
that's
sounds pretty
awesome.
sick.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited for you to get it. I wanna mess around with the layout and see kind of how it feels.
Yeah, it's funky, man. Like they have some weird things that you can do with that bottom, the two R4 rows.
Hmm.
Like you can mess with like the spacebar sizes on both sides, and then you can also there's an extra key, like a 1U key on the right side of it, where you kind of have to, mess around with it where if you want the end to be close to the break in the middle of it, or if you want to put like a function key over there. So we'll definitely be playing with that one and messing around and having some fun with it. Yeah, man. Other than that, oh, last thing. If you guys have seen this gal, Latrialum, she makes these gorgeous resin blank keycaps. I basically begged and pleaded and for her to do a commission for me. She's making these she calls them Royal Shadow. It's like a black and white with like a gold accent blank. They're gorgeous.
I actually have one of those keycaps here.
Oh, yeah. They're impeccable. She does this like gold foil. It looks it just looks insane.
Yeah,
And
they're
I'm really pumped about those. So that's gonna go with minimal. That's gonna be like my accent piece for minimal because they're gonna be predominantly black and they'll just pop. So I'm
that'll be
freaking pumped.
awesome. That'll be
Yeah,
awesome. Well, enough about all that. Let's talk about meetups. Let's
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 do it.
let's get in on it. Um, so what is a meetup? Basically, it's
Uh,
kind of the first question.
I mean, to me, it was really just a place to not only meet people who are also into the same hobby as you, but it was kind of like being able to play with everything that you could ever want or dream or imagine of in one spot. I mean, for me, I'd only been to one meetup as well, and it was the one in Dallas. And for me, I was newer to the hobby when I had gone, and it was kind of great to be able to try out different switches, see different boards in person, see what like your money could really buy you if you were going to invest in something really nice. Um, Other than that, I mean, like I was saying, I think the biggest thing though was just meeting people, making
Yeah.
connections with the community.
Yeah, I think it's great. It's great for making connections. It's great for seeing kind of what's out there. I feel like there's a lot in this community that you, especially when you first start, you don't know. Like you don't know
Yeah,
what you like, you don't know what layout you really want. So Meetup
yeah.
is something that's awesome to be able to go and play with different layouts. Um, you can see, oh man, that's a board I always wanted. You can get some time with it and kind of mess around with it and take a look at it, and appreciate it for what it is. It's
Mhm.
also a chance to kind of show off a little bit if you got some
Oh
some
yeah, and
fancy
flex.
stuff. You know,
Yeah,
get
you
some
gotta flex.
get a
Don't
little
forget the
flex
flex.
action in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is big or small meetups doesn't matter. Get out if there's
Mm.
one near you. Get out, meet some people, have a good time, talk about keyboards, flex a little bit if that's your thing.
No,
Take
yeah,
some
I'd highly
pictures.
recommend it. Highly recommend. The one I mean, the one in Dallas, you weren't at the one that I went to, but, the one there, it wasn't that big. It was this small little room, at this, like, building center. It was actually a pretty cool building. They had, like, a bunch of CNC machines and 3D printers and stuff. It looks like you could just rent out a space and go to town. But it was, I wanna say, what, 50 people max
Yeah,
showed up throughout the day?
I think that's about what the one that I went to was because it was in the same place. It was in the DFW makerspace
Mhm,
place, which is exactly what you said. Like you can literally rent out a space and you can do whatever you want. Like you can make anything you want with a CNC machine or a 3D
mhm,
printer. Um,
mhm,
but yeah, if it's small or big, it doesn't matter. Obviously bigger means you get to try more stuff, but
mhm.
if it's small, that means you're gonna have more one-on-one time with talking about if there's a TGR Alice that you've always wanted to try. You can talk to the person who built it. You can talk to them about the board, or if there's
Yeah.
something there that you've been looking at getting, like say you really want an M60A and there's a couple there, you can talk to the person about their what they like about it, what they don't like, things that they would
Mhm.
change, um, tips and tricks and stuff. So
I mean, one thing I also noticed that it's kind of more low key is you also get to see things in real life as far as like colors. So one thing like for key sets and even colors of boards, I was all about GMK camping. I thought it was like the nicest set I'd ever seen in my life. And then I go to the meetup and I see someone who has it. And honestly, I wasn't wowed. The green didn't do it for me. It was kind of like one of those things where every photo I'd seen looked like the perfect shade for me, but then I see it in real life, oh, it's not for me. But then I see other key sets that I had no interest in whatsoever, like 9009. I thought it was kind of weak and kind of boring. And I saw it in real life at the meetup and I was blown away and I thought it was one of the cleanest sets I'd ever seen. So, because I mean, you're always looking through a monitor, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Changes the way
So
it sounds, the way it looks. Um, but yeah, so when you go to a meetup, what should you bring? What did you bring to your first meetup? That's a good question.
I brought, hey, don't do that. I brought basically a bunch of artisans to trade. I brought, I want to say, what else did I bring? I brought my board. I kept it in my backpack because I was ashamed because the stuff there was just so intense. I mean, I think I shouldn't have been because I think my board is actually pretty slick to type on, and I actually really enjoy it. I think others would as well because I don't think there was really when I went. I don't think there was any Xylent builds there at all. So I think it would have been nice to have there. I shouldn't have been so shy, but I was newer, so I got a little nervous, um, and money, and I brought money, so I was ready to buy something from because people were selling some stuff. People were selling switches. They were like, I was tempted to snag some Preludes, Zelios. Some people were selling some key sets. I saw someone selling like GMK Phantom.
Ooh.
Was it Phantom or was it Royal? Yeah, I think it was Phantom. That's like the blue or the purple and gold set, right?
Yeah, it's like all purple and with gold
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
legends.
So people were selling that stuff, but so I'd say, yeah, bring your wallet.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing because you never know. Sometimes people are trying to like get rid of something, and that's actually how I met Chewwy. Believe it or not, he had his GMK camping board, which I'm sure he's gonna be upset about me dogging on. But next to that, he had his Olivia board, and I basically just like walked over to him, and he was like, "Hey, have I met you before? I met you at a meetup before." I was like, "Definitely wasn't me." But if you really liked that guy, then it was me, and you should sell me your Olivia set. And he was basically like, "No way in hell am I ever gonna sell you this, but nice to meet you." And like our friendship had basically started from there.
Yeah. And then he did eventually sell you Olivia.
And then he did, yeah, I wore him. I mean, I wore him down.
To be fair, he literally that night that he sold it to you, or like the day before, he messaged me and he was like, "I think I'm gonna sell it. Do you want it?" And I was like,
Yeah,
"Listen, yes, but no."
yeah,
like I was like, I don't really necessarily want to buy it for like as much as it is worth.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's not worth that much for me. But as far as for what I think you should bring for meetups, anything that is related to the hobby, or I mean, even if you have something that's cool that's not that you might want to bring, I don't know, just bring it. If there's a thought process of maybe I shouldn't bring this because it's not good enough, like you with your board and your backpack.
Mm-hmm.
I had a very
Mm-hmm.
similar situation. I had two Tadas and I just didn't bring them because I didn't think that they were cool enough to
Yeah,
be shown off at the meetup. And I got there and I saw what was there and I was like, man, I could have brought these,
yeah,
like I could have
yeah.
shown them off. One thing that both Chewy and I always bring is camera. We like to take pictures.
Oh, camera. That's a good idea.
We like to take pictures. Obviously, it's 2019. Phones have awesome cameras, so you might not have to bring one. But
Mm.
if you're fancy and you want to have a cool board pick, the cat is going to town on your hand.
Look at him. He's trying to kill me. Get out
Yeah,
of here. We're recording.
but no one's gonna judge you. That's the thing. No
Yeah,
one's gonna be like, no one's gonna walk up to your board and be like, "This isn't good enough to be here. You need to leave."
yeah, yeah,
So,
for sure.
and plus, there might be someone there that's like thinking, with your KBD 67 or like my tofu, or not tofus, but Tada's being like,
Mhm.
"Hey, I was thinking about getting one of these. What are your opinions?" You
True.
know, so you
Like
never
there
know
could
what could
be people
happen.
that are newer to the hobby that are just trying to get in, and that's what they were looking at first. They're not, their brain isn't even at like the TGR level, right? They're like, "Hey, I just want a KBD, man. I'm just trying to get into this for the
Yeah.
first time. I'm just trying to solder, like, what's soldering? You know what I mean?"
Oh yeah,
So,
the guy that we met that Chewy thought was you is a guy who was brand new.
mhm.
He knew some stuff and he knew what he liked, but the dude didn't even own a soldering iron. And Chewy
Yeah,
brought his old soldering iron to give away that day, and he gave it to him.
that's
Like,
awesome.
and that's the other thing is if you have stuff that you want to like get rid of or give away or sell, bring it with you. You don't know
Totally.
what people could be into. Just don't be intimidated by what. Don't let your own thoughts and your own expectations kind of intimidate you on what you should and shouldn't bring.
I couldn't agree more. And honestly, if I hadn't gone, I don't think I would have been as involved with the community or even as into the hobby as I am, because I met some good friends. I mean, I met Chewwy obviously, and then through Chewwy met you and Will and a bunch of other peeps that I never would have met had I not gone and just kind of put myself out there for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely worth it to bring whatever you got and kind of show it off a little bit. There's going to be stuff that's better. There's always going to be someone that's bringing the top tier stuff. That's bringing the Janes, bringing the Alices,
Hmm.
and they're flexing hard. They got OG Holy Pandas. I remember that
Yeah,
was when the first meetup that Chewy and I went to. I can't remember the guy's name, but he came in with like 5 heavy hitting boards,
yeah.
and we were just like amazed. Like OG
You just
Holy
gobbled.
Pandas, and like we were on our way out as he was coming in,
That's
and
amazing.
um, he had like 2 or 3 boards with OG Holy Pandas, and he had some like super fancy Topra stuff. So, and that was really cool to be able to try.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And also, dude, you never know who you're gonna meet there. I mean, like,
yeah.
or who's gonna show up. Like, I think the one I had went to, Anthony 001 Anthony was there, or
Hmm.
Anthony 001, however you say, he was there. So, I mean, like, the community is small. We're growing every day, but we're still small. And you'll find familiar faces if you go to these things, and you get to ask the questions that you never would get to ask, and try the boards you never get to try. I mean, my biggest regret is not trying the boards more. I felt like I was too shy to like actually type on it, and I go to, buy something now and I'm like, "Hey, did I actually like that or did I just remember that wrong?" So I mean, like, I'd say really get in there if people are, you know, putting it out there to try. I mean, take advantage of it, because if you're in the hobby for a long time, you know that it takes forever to get this stuff, and sometimes it's there one day and it's gone the next. So
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I will say one thing: if you are planning on bringing your board, just make sure you give it a nice little once over, give it a nice little cleaning before you go.
yeah. Yeah.
No one wants
You don't
to.
want to be you don't want to be the meme of like the where like the person flips over their keyboard and like the cat comes out of it.
Yeah, yeah,
Have
or
you seen
like,
those where like they're like
yeah,
patting it down and it's like fur, coins, a
yeah,
sandwich, a cat.
yeah. I've seen that. I've seen that. No one wants to be to have their Doritos crumbs on their hands after testing your board.
Yeah, no
So,
Dorito hands for sure.
but yeah, give it a nice little clean, and then maybe bring some hand sanitizer with you or something like that, so you make sure your hands are clean, so you don't dirty their stuff up.
I think they had like a hand sanitizer
Station.
little station
Yeah.
right before we walked in.
I mean, hey, there are people who have boards that are worth thousands upon thousands of dollars. They're graciously letting people try it. Might as
Yeah.
well show them a little bit of respect and make sure
Show
you're not
respect. Yeah.
you're not messing it up and dirtying it up. And that goes along with making sure you're um asking if you want to pick up a board or something, making sure you're asking them first, or if you have questions about it. Um, don't just like pick their board up and throw it around. That might make some people pretty nervous, especially if it's their first time at a meetup and they're kind of like nervous about bringing their super nice board around a whole bunch of random people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because even though they're made out of metal, they could be fragile.
They get scratch. You go to pick it up and you slap another one on the way
Yeah,
up, but boom, boom, that's the scuff.
absolutely,
That's how you make
absolutely.
some enemies real quick. I don't think I'd be mad. I think I would just cry if that happened to me.
Yeah, absolutely. If someone like if I took I feel like my TX60 is a little bit more sturdy, but like my orange and someone like broke that just because that has like a really like insane, not insane. It's just a very one-off PCB, just the way
Hmm.
that it's built. So like if someone messed
Hmm.
that up and like somehow the PCB got like completely screwed up, I would die. I'd be so angry. Like
I'm never going to meet up again.
just like so bitter. But yeah, and then don't be afraid to talk to people. Like you
Yeah.
said, Chewy and you met that way.
Mhm. It was like slow motion, guys. Like he you ever seen those old 90s movies where the girl turns and her hair just flows around
It's like
her
Baywatch.
shoulder? That's what it was like when I met Chewy for the first time.
He's
I
there.
just knew. I
He
just
just
knew, you know?
threw the hair behind the shoulder. He's like, "Hey."
Yeah. Hey, I'm Chewy. It's like that John Mayer song, something about Olivia, something about Chewy, something
Yeah.
about Chewy.
Yeah. But talk to people, ask questions, figure out what they like, what they don't like. I remember the first meetup that Chewy and I went to. There were two boards there that were prototypes. Like they were in the
Oh, sick.
prototype phase for um, going into group buy, and one has finished, and one ended up not actually going. One was the Aquaria, which is the one that's like kind of finished. I think it's shipping soon,
Mm.
and the other one is the Staccato, which ended up not really going to group buy.
I'm not familiar. What's the Aquaria?
The Aquaria, it's like they're both 60%.
Mhm.
The Aquaria was actually um, part designed by um, Telestron, like the plate design was done by
Oh, nice.
Telestron, and the rest of the build was done by a guy named Oscar,
Mhm.
who brought the prototype. It was a really cool board. It had like a brass weight with a jellyfish engraved on the back, which was pretty cool looking.
Oh, sick.
Um, but yeah, it was a kind of a small run. I think he only did like 25 of them. Um, but it was pretty cool to be able to talk to someone about their board as they're in the group buy or before group buy and prototyping phase, and kind of
Mhm.
hear the different things, and also give input, because that was one thing that they were both looking for, was like, all right, well, what would you change,
Yeah. What do you like and don't
which is a
like?
cool aspect of going to meetups. Sometimes people take prototypes to get a better masses opinion on the board. Obviously it's not like a 2 week long test, but in a quick 5 minutes of looking at the board, you can kind of tell, hey,
Mm.
maybe do this instead. So,
Yeah, definitely, man.
but yeah, and then take pictures. You want to
Take
know?
pictures with the boards. Selfies are great. No, but I mean, a lot of times people put out cards, right, saying what
Right.
it is. So, I mean, I think if I had taken a lot more shots, I would remember, because I remember specific boards. I remember like typing on this board and really enjoying it, but what was on it? What were the switches? I don't remember. What did he lube it with? A lot of times people put like info cards of like, you know, gasket mount or gasket mount Zelios with whatever 3204, and they'll put like the springs that they use. They'll put everything, every little spec on it, and that would really help with like looking for yourself in the future for what you want and what you don't want, even as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And because of that, it makes it to where, as your tastes change, because eventually what you like will change, you can go back and look and see,
Mm,
oh, maybe I'll try this. Like if I already know, maybe at the time of the meetup you weren't into tactile switches. You were just
mm,
a solid linear guy. That's it. And then you started to realize, oh, uh, I really like Zelio V2s now. 78 grams. And then you go back and you
mm,
see, okay, well, this Chewwy guy had Zelio 78-gram V2s in this TX60 back then, and he had lubed with 3203 or 3204, and I didn't like the way it felt then, but it did feel nice and smooth, a lot smoother than what this is. Now you have
mm.
that picture that shows back to what was all in that board.
It gives
Um,
you a pivot point
yeah,
because you're not. I mean, switch testers are great, chewy, but they don't emulate a board, right?
right.
Like you can type on a switch tester, and I think it's better for comparing against another switch, but it's not really that accurate on how it's going to feel to type on it day in and day out.
Right, exactly. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, it all comes down to one. This obviously the switch will feel different in every different type of plate that you put it in. So if you're putting it
Mhm,
in a poly plate, if you're putting it in a brass plate, or if you're putting it in a steel plate, or an aluminum
Mm,
plate. It's going to feel different in all of those. It's not going to be
definitely.
a ton in some of them, the variance between some of them, but it'll be different.
Yeah.
So obviously, yes, as much as we love the get a switch tester, and we do say you should, if you have the ability to get out to a meetup to test switches, that is your best way to test switches. And then not only test just the actual switch, but if people are bringing boards that are lubed, that's a good way to see how they'll react to different
Mm,
lubes, because not everyone has the same preferences when it comes to lube. Some people like thicker um, lubes on tactiles. They don't mind the tactile loss, and they like the little bit more, in my opinion, mushy feel.
yeah.
Um, like there was one guy at the first meetup that we had. This is a linear switch, but it was a tangerine, and it literally was like the mushiest switch I have ever felt in my life.
And he's like, it's perfect.
Like
What
like
do you
I
mean?
I was typing on it, and I'm like, Dave, this board is pretty, but this thing feels terrible. And he was like, I don't disagree with you. But
Well, I
that's
mean,
what the guy likes.
yeah, it's all about preference, man. Like you're using this thing. I mean, if you take it to work 7, 8 hours a day, you're gaming, or if you're just using it for day to day, you're using it for at least a few hours. I mean, it's an intimate thing. It sounds really cheesy calling a keyboard intimate, but it really is. Because I mean, you think of what you're using daily more than your keyboard. Maybe your bed, your phone, your car, and your keyboard.
Yeah.
That's your magic four, baby.
Yeah, it's funny to me when people will like at work and stuff will make fun of me about my keyboards and stuff, and I'm
Hmm.
like, listen, my job is typing a lot of the
Yeah,
time. Like,
yeah.
why would I not make the best typing experience I can have? And like one of the other ladies that I work with, she switched to a mechanical keyboard, and she's like, I
Mhm.
understand now. And obviously,
Yeah,
she's not like super into the hobby, but she has like her husband bought her like a Razer tactile board, and she
that's
loves it.
amazing. That's amazing. No, it's
So,
so funny that you say that because that's happening at my office too. I mean, I work for a tech company, so the people there are a little bit more open-minded when it comes to that stuff. But I definitely got a lot of flack when I first brought in my board. But then now I think we have 4 people that have custom boards in the office, 2 more that are coming. Um, we
nice.
just kind of like, we usually put like an alt or a control in front of them and we say, try this out. Oh, you don't like this switch? All right, try this out. Okay, that's it. Okay, now order one. And they're all about it. So we're slowly like getting them all in.
Yeah, yeah. It's cool how that can happen, and bringing someone who's kind of like dipping their toes in to the hobby to like a meetup or something, if they have the opportunity, if you have a meetup in your area, if
Mhm.
you can bring them out to something like that, it can really get them to that next step, and have them be more defined in what they like and what they want out of their custom keyboard experience. Could also overwhelm them a little bit, but they'll be okay.
No, I mean that's what we did. I mean, I went with my buddy Rick, who actually got me into keyboards, and then we had brought our coworker, and she had never built a board before in her life. She's a hardcore gamer, so like she has probably like 3 or 4 mechanical keyboards in her arsenal that she had been using in the past. She'd like done Razors, she'd done the Corsairs of the world, done the Logitech. They're like custom mechanical switch that they have. Um, and she always loved them and thought they were great. But then when she saw our board, she's like, that's actually really sick. I love the colors. She was all obsessed with laser
Ooh,
at the time because she likes that vaporwave aesthetic. So I think she was looking at, when we went to the meetup, she was looking at trying to find that set or something similar. And now she has built her own custom. She started with the NYM 96, I want to say. It's like a mid-range board. It was on Mass Drop or Drop, whatever you want to call it, a little ways back. But now she's like full in on custom. Now she's waiting for Mito Saturn. Have you seen that board?
mm-mm.
She, it's a prototype he's working on. It's like a purple board with USBs on it and like an LED strip, RGB
Oh, I
LED
have
strip
seen
across
that.
the
Yeah, I
top.
have seen that. It's got like
Yeah,
it's got like a USB hub like on the top.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. If he actually builds that board, I think she's gonna lose her mind. And she got into the hobby through us and the meetup. The meetup is really what took her to the next level. Let her try all these different switches that she never would have had the opportunity to had she had not gone. And since going, she's gotten more invested. So it
Yeah,
works.
absolutely. Absolutely. And kind of the next step is just go to as many meetups as you can. If you've got
Mm,
them close to you and you can make the drive, or if you want to fly and go to something like a KeyCon or a NorCal meetup that's a bigger, and you have the opportunity to do it. It'll be fun. You get to meet cool people, have cool conversations, be nerdy, talk about keyboards, and try some cool stuff. And maybe you'll walk away with a whole new key set, or maybe a whole new keyboard if someone's trying to sell their board.
yeah. Bag of switches.
A
You
bag of
never know.
switches, yeah.
Are you said it a little bit earlier, but are you trying to go to the San Jose meetup or the NorCal meetup?
We are, yeah. I think both Chewy and I are trying to get out there to that one. I know the dates have not been released yet, or
Hmm.
the location hasn't been 100% decided and released yet.
Hmm.
But I know that that's coming, and we're trying to get out there. It's
That'd
gonna
be
be
sick.
it's gonna be a good time. I know that that one is done by Huey, um, and it gets a lot of support from the community, a lot of different brands and stuff that go in on it with him. Um, so I know we're definitely trying to fly out for that one, and maybe bring a board or two. I don't know how customs, or not customs, but I don't know how the
Carry on.
carry on.
Just carry on.
Yeah, my big TX cases. Maybe bring
Yeah.
like
Just bring.
bring
Yeah,
one
just one.
each.
If I get my Xeno and that build done in time, maybe I'll come out too. Because I used to live in the Bay Area, so I wouldn't mind going back to visit.
You should. It'll be
Eh,
fun.
yeah.
We'll definitely talk about it as it gets closer. I know Chewy is got some things to figure out with it, but and I do as well. There's the whole like getting out there costs that we gotta get together, but we're gonna make it work.
It's worth it for the boards, bro.
It
It's worth
is.
it.
It is. And who knows? Maybe the Lumina will be here by then, and I can take the Lumina out there. We can both
That
take
would
our
be a dream come
Luminas.
true. Yeah, you and Chewy, you and your matching waves.
Yeah. Well, see, because we both have. Oh, I don't think he bought. He didn't buy white on black. Dang it! I was gonna say because
No.
he's getting the white Lumina, and I'm getting the black Lumina, the deep black quartz Lumina. So we could have like
Oh, you were
inverted.
thinking,
I could have
yeah,
minimal on mine, and he could have
yeah.
white on black. But it's okay.
That's actually a pretty badass idea.
Yeah, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be pretty cool?
Yeah.
The only thing that would make it even better is if like you had half the board without caps on it, and it was also inverted, like white
That'd be
housings with
sick.
like the koala switches that don't exist, that I'm
The
sad about.
koalas was just that was such a bummer. They were basically T1s, right? But then just kind of
It
recolored
was like a
and
recolored
different
T1.
material.
Yeah.
Did they do like the Holy Panda thing with the nylon and the polycarb?
I don't remember. I don't know. I mean, it'll never exist now. At least it
Yeah.
won't exist for a while. I don't
Rest in
think it'll
peace,
ever
this
exist.
koala switch.
Dude, such a cute name.
I know. We're on this animal theme with our switches lately, our premium switches, and I'm not gonna say I don't hate it. I like it. It makes it fun. It makes it cute.
Yeah. Because then you can have all the cool like
The
t-shirts and
stickers, yeah, the
stickers.
stickers.
But we got the trash pandas now. I mean, that's not even technically like a cute name.
It's a raccoon.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
like a that's
I
like
think it's
a,
cute.
a derogatory name for a raccoon though, you know?
Raccoon. Yeah, it is kind of messed up, but they look nice. They look nice.
They
I know
do.
I've been like waiting for an excuse to use my red pandas. So,
Well, the Xeno's coming.
well, if the mass drop pandas come, then that's what's going in there. I got a pink theme going. I got the Olivia board. I got a custom cable from Zap Cable that I can't wait to show you guys.
Mhm.
That's just gonna match everything perfectly. So a few more weeks. I think I can make it. Drop Holy Pandas are coming soon, right?
Supposed to be at the end of this month. We'll see. Probably You know, the joke is that Chewwy, when he gets in on a drop on a group buy, it gets delayed, and technically he's in on the pandas, so it's probably gonna
Yeah.
get delayed more.
Yeah. I've
So,
learned my lesson. I'm not going to join any more drops with him.
you know, I've had a couple that didn't get delayed. The little Switch opener, it didn't get delayed.
Oh, the Switch opener. There you go.
Yeah.
Everybody wins.
However,
Everybody wins once.
however, the M0110 and the Lumina were sitting
2
about
years later.
a
Yeah.
year. But no, we joke about that a lot. But we're excited for where those things are at, and we're excited to get
They're
them.
both killer boards. They're
Yeah.
both killer boards. When they finally come, it's going to be such a nice moment, and it'll be worth the wait, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Although I think Chewy wrestles every day whether or not he should sell his M0110 slot.
That one's been longer than anything he's been waiting on, I think. So I
Yeah.
totally understand where he's coming from, but
It's hitting its first birthday in a couple weeks from the buy opening.
that's rough.
But it's coming along. They're happening. But anything else you want to say about meetups?
No, man, I'll just echo what you said before. It's a great way to meet people. It's a great way to make some friends, talk about things that, let's be honest, normal people wouldn't understand your obsession with keyboards. And it's great to just try the things that maybe you can never afford to buy, maybe the things that you can never, that just don't exist anymore because they came out 2 years ago and they're not doing another group buy. And have a good time. I mean, let's not forget they're fun. You know what I mean? You're gonna have a good time, a lot, hopefully lots of laughs, and um, get you more into the hobby that we already love. So
Yeah, definitely. Couldn't agree more. We're a whole bunch of nerds. We like to talk about keyboards. Like I had some stuff shipped to work and I was looking at it and they're like, "What is that?" And it was like a whole bunch of springs and like some sockets. And then I'm just like, "Yeah, it's just a whole bunch of keyboard stuff." They're like, "Why do you need all that?" It's like,
why?
you don't understand.
Yeah, that's actually funny you say that because last week I was expecting, I ordered this Jelly Key Koi space bar forever ago, and I had known that it's been shipped. So I got something in the mail that was from Vietnam. I'm like, oh, this has to be it. And my mail lady always makes fun of me because I always get keyboard stuff. I'm like, but wait, this one's gonna be so sick. You need to see this. Stay, stay, stay. She goes, okay. I open it up. I rip it open, excited, and I pull out springs. And I'm like, oh man, that was so anticlimactic. I'm so sorry. She's like, what is wrong with you? See, that would never happen. If I was next to Chew, you've been like, that's so sick, 68 gram springs. What?
Well, I don't know if he'd have
Gold plated.
I don't know if he'd have quite that reaction, but I think he would be pretty stoked for you.
But he might.
He
He
might.
might.
He might. But either way, we appreciate everyone watching. Don't forget to use our code on switchmod.net. Use code Mechs on deck. Get 4% off your lube and all your other switchmod.net things that they sell. You can get some Eister stickers, some keycaps, some specialty little novelty keycaps from him as well. So use code Mechs on deck, get 4% off, helps us out a little bit. Also, the discount code Mechs on deck for 10% off of DIY kits is still up on Zap Cables. Get yourself
Build
some
those cables. Build those cables.
Get
Order
yourself
from
some
John.
kits. Yeah, order from John. Great guy. And don't forget to stop by our Twitch channel. Be in the link in the description. We are live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central Time. Again, Moon, thanks for filling in while Chewy's in California, having a good time with his wife.
Thanks for bearing with me, guys.
You know, your cat made it okay.
I know he's like going nuts on me right now. He hates me. He wants some attention.
Well, we'll let you give him some attention. And we'll see y'all again real soon.
Later, guys.